All right, let's talk about something that drives pretty much every digital marketer crazy. You've been there, right? Staring at your screen, looking at two different sets of numbers from Google, and just wondering, why? Why don't they match? Well, if you've ever felt that frustration, you're in exactly the right place. Today, we're going to solve this data dilemma between GA4 and Google Search Console.
It's the big question, isn't it? You check GA4, you check Google Search Console, and the numbers are just worlds apart. Your first thought is probably, oh great, something's broken. But what if I told you nothing is broken at all? What if they're supposed to be different? Let's get to the bottom of this.
I'm sure you've seen a screen that looks a lot like this one. Google Search Console is over here celebrating like, hey, you got 35,000 clicks. But then you pop over to GA4 and it's telling you a much different story, only 12,000 new users. That's a huge gap. The key thing to realize is this isn't an error. It's actually a clue that these two amazing tools are measuring two totally different but equally important things.
Okay, so to crack this case, we've got to understand our key players first. The best way to think about them isn't as rivals, but as specialists who have very different jobs. Let's really break down what GA4 and Google Search Console were built to do.
So, first up is Google Analytics 4. Think of GA4 as the party host. Its job is to welcome everyone who comes to your website and keep track of them, no matter how they got there. When GA4 talks about new users, it's counting every single first-timer, whether they found you through a Google search, clicked a Facebook ad, or came from an email newsletter. It's all about the big picture of your entire audience.
Now let's look at Google Search Console. GSC is more like the security guard at the front door of one specific club, and that club is Google Search. It has one very focused job, to report on how your site performs on Google's search results page. A click in GSC means one thing and one thing only. Somebody saw your link on Google and they clicked it. End of story. GSC doesn't care what happens after that click or who's coming in from other doors.
And this table just lays it all out perfectly. GSC is all about SEO performance. Its data comes straight from Google's own search index, and it only cares about organic traffic. GA4, on the other hand, is the whole shebang of web analytics. It uses a little snippet of code on your site to track visitors from every source. See? They're built from the ground up to answer completely different questions.
Okay, so we've established they have different jobs. Now let's put on our detective hats and really solve the case of these conflicting numbers. We're going to dig into the nitty-gritty technical reasons why these two metrics will never, and really should never, be the same.
Here they are. These are our main suspects. The whole discrepancy really boils down to just a few things: the way they track an interaction, the big difference between a click and a session, how each tool deals with pesky bot traffic, some cookie complications, and sometimes data sampling. Let's break down the biggest ones.
This one is absolutely fundamental. GSC counts the intention to visit. Someone clicks your link in the search results, boom, that's a click. It doesn't matter if your site then fails to load or they immediately hit the back button. But GA4 needs proof of life. It only logs a visit if the user sticks around long enough for the GA4 tracking code on your web page to actually fire. So for all those quick bounces, GSC counts it, but GA4 never even knows they existed.
And this one is a huge reason for the difference. Picture this. A user Googles something, clicks your link, decides it's not quite right, hits the back button, and then clicks your same link again 2 seconds later. To Google Search Console, that's 2 separate clicks. Simple as that. But GA4 is way smarter. It recognizes that this is probably the same person doing the same thing, and it groups both of those clicks into one single session. Right there. That's why GSC's numbers are almost always going to be higher. And of course, we can't forget about our robot friends. You know, the bots and spiders constantly crawling the web. Because GSC is part of Google's core search system, it is incredibly good at spotting and filtering out clicks from known bots. It just doesn't count them. GA4 has bot filtering too, but you have to make sure it's set up just right. If it's not, some of that non-human traffic can slip past and artificially inflate your user numbers. It's just another layer to the puzzle.
Okay, we figured out the why. Now for the really important part. What do we do about it? It's time to stop pulling our hair out and start building a smart, actionable strategy. It's time to stop trying to force these numbers to match and instead start using them together for what they're good at.
This right here, this is the whole takeaway. The goal is not to decide which tool is right or which one is the source of truth. The goal is to use the insights from both to get a full 360-degree picture of your performance. They're not rivals, they're partners in telling a story.
So here's how you do it. From now on, think of Google Search Console as your pre-click tool. It tells you the story of everything that happens before a person even lands on your website. How many people saw your link on Google? Of those people, what percentage actually clicked it? What keywords are they using to find you? This is your pure, unfiltered report card for SEO performance.
And then you turn to GA4 for the post-click story. Once a user actually arrives on your site, GA4 takes over. What do they do next? Do they stick around and read your content? Do they click on other pages? Most importantly, do they do the thing you want them to do, like fill out a form or buy something? GA4 measures the user experience and the value of that traffic.
So your new reporting process is this simple. Two-step dance. Step 1, you go to Search Console to figure out how good you are at attracting people from Google. Step 2, you go to GA4 to see if the people you attracted are the right people and if your website is actually delivering a great experience. It's a really clean, logical workflow.
So the next time you open up your reports, don't ask, why are these numbers different? Instead, I want you to ask a much better question. Now that I know what each tool is telling me, what is the complete story my data is trying to tell? Because that's where the real actionable insights are hiding. Thanks for diving into this with me.